Thank you for watching the Finance and Affirmations podcast. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you'll be alerted when I post new content. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. This is part 4 and the final investing basics workshop that I've been sharing with you over a few of the episodes. Okay. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the language associated with the stock market, and I'm going to show you how to read a stock chart. So stay tuned. All right. So, how many of you guys have ever heard of bulls and bears as it relates to the stock market? Have you ever heard that language as it relates to stocks? So when the market is going up and the prices are going up, they call that a bullish market. Okay. When prices are going up, they also call that like a market rally. And I like to think of it like a pep rally. Yay, the prices are going up, or the market as a whole is going up. And so that is what's called a bullish market. Now, who knows where they got the term bull from, or the bull term from, as it relates to that? Anybody? Where they got the term bull from is because when a bull attacks you and it sticks you with its horns, the horns go up like that. That's where it comes from. Like real basic. I was like, oh, that's it. So that's where the bull thing comes from, right? Now, if it's considered a bearish market, that means that the prices are decreasing. So they'll say, I don't know if you guys listen to CNBC or Bloomberg or any of those business channels that talk about stocks. You'll hear them say like, oh, the bulls won today, but meaning the prices went up or up. The market has been bearish for 3 months. That means the overall market is going down. Okay. And so then now that you know where the bull term comes from, who wants to take a guess at where the bear term came from? When a bear slashes at you, its paw goes down, slashes down like that. That's it. Like, it's not rocket science, right? So I just knew, after I started learning this, that it was going to be like this big thing. That's it. Bull horns go up, bear's paw slash down. All right. So does anybody have any questions over what I've gone over so far? All right. Now, there is something called index investing. So when you saw my little flyer that went through Facebook or what have you, heard in my flyer, I say that you'll learn a simple investing tip, and you'll also learn how to read a stock chart. Okay, so this is the simple investing part. Okay, so there are indexes that are related to the stock market. Those indexes, the ones that you've probably heard of, are the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? The Dow looks at the top 30 companies, and they use how those companies are doing as like a temperature of how the US market is doing overall. Okay, so the Dow is an index. The NASDAQ is also an index. Typically, when you hear about the NASDAQ, those are technology stocks, are typically traded on the NASDAQ index. All right. It's about over 3,000 technology stocks on the NASDAQ. If you've heard of the Russell 2000, okay, the Russell 2000 looks at about 2,000 what they call small cap stocks. And those are the companies that are worth like less than, say, $1 billion. But Russell 2000 is small cap stocks. Okay. Then they also have the Standard & Poor's 500. So that's what the S&P stands for, Standard & Poor's. And what the S&P 500 looks at is 500 stocks in the US market, again, to see how the overall market is doing. All right. And so you can, there can be a stock on more than one of these indexes. Okay. A Dow stock can also be on the S&P 500. They have different requirements that they have to meet to be on those, but they can be on the Dow and the NASDAQ, or the Dow and the Russell, what have you. Okay. And so, like I talked about, for the since the beginning of the year, the S&P 500 overall has risen over 11% just since January. Okay. And so if you were invested in an S&P 500 stock that follows the S&P 500, your portfolio is likely to have risen by 11% just since January. Okay. And then when you think about the S&P 500 over the last, say 20 or so years, it has risen over 20.78%. Okay. And so if you were investing in S&P 500 stocks, that is a simple investing tool that you could use, because you probably have heard of the term when you're talking about money or anything, you just want to set it and forget it, right? You're not trying to go in and out and make the decisions and all that. You're like, look, I just want to start investing. I don't want to know all that complicated stuff. I just need a simple investing strategy so that I can start investing. Well, investing in the S&P 500 stocks is a way for you to do that. Okay. There is there's an index fund. So Tasha knows what that means. We're not going to get into the weeds on that right now, but the S&P 500 has an index fund called SPY. Okay, so what that index fund does is it also follows the S&P 500. And so if you invested in the SPY, that's following the S&P 500. And if you're like, you know what, that's all I want to do is just invest in that index, you can just keep buying stocks and buying more SPY or whatever fund that you want that follows the S&P 500. Is that clear to everybody what that investing strategy is? Now, let's go ahead and talk about reading a stock chart, okay? One of the tools that I use, and you can use either of these or any tool that you want to look at stocks, is Yahoo Finance, okay, or CNBC. Okay, so CNBC, that's the one I like. It's not better than Yahoo Finance. It's just the one that I prefer. And so it is CNBC.com. All right. And so when you're looking at a stock, every stock has what's called a ticker symbol. Okay. And so a ticker symbol is a 1 to 5 letter number sequence that represents that stock. Okay. So if you were investing in Apple, you wouldn't say APPLE. Apple's ticker symbol is AAPL. If you were investing in Boeing, Boeing's ticker symbol is BA. Let me see. If you were investing in NVIDIA, NVIDIA's ticker symbol is NVDA. All right. So every stock has a ticker symbol, and you need to know the ticker symbol if you want to invest in that company. All right. So now we're going to do the reading of the stock chart. Okay. Now I'm going to do Walmart. Okay. So Walmart's ticker symbol is WMT. Okay. It's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. That's what that represents. Okay. And so let's read this stock chart. All right. Now, I just want to point out that these numbers here, these are the stats of Walmart. These are going to differ a little bit from these because after hours market is still moving. Okay. So today Walmart closed at $67.09. All right. It's up from where it closed yesterday. So that's what that green arrow means. And it has the plus 49 and all that. It's up 0.74%. That's what that stands for. Okay. Right here, there's what's called a 52-week range. So we know that there are 52 weeks in a year. And so the 52-week range is going to tell you what the low of that particular stock was in the last 52 weeks, the stock price, and what the highest stock price was in the last 52 weeks. Okay. As you see here on CNBC, when you pull it up, they're always going to tell you who the company is. It's going to tell you what kind of company is, what they do. It'll tell you like some of the CEOs and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I like also with CNBC is it tells you who the main competitors are of that particular company. Okay. So this says top peers. Okay. So you see COST is the ticker symbol for Costco. You have Alibaba, Target. So those are ones that you recognize. So the reason that's important is, say now, as you can see, Walmart is pretty affordable, right? But say if you were in Costco and you're like, I can't afford to buy a stock that is $834, right? For one. But if you look at the peers, you may be like, oh, well, I can't afford Costco, but I can afford Walmart or I can afford Target. So you can buy stocks that are in that company's peer group. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back up to the top. Now, if you're looking at this, you see this says 1D. That stands for 1 day. Okay, so this is telling you what happened in that 1 day. This down here is normally going to be the date. This over here is going to be the stock price. All right, so as you see, as I'm moving this, you see where I'm landed right now is on, oh, I'm sorry, this is not a good example here because this is just 1 day. So that the 5D means 5 days. The 1M means 1 month. 3 months, 6 months, year to date, 1 year, 5 years, and the whole time that this particular stock, which is Walmart, has been traded. Okay, so I'm going to press that. So they started down here in 1980. Okay, and it gives you all the data for as long as it's been traded. So I'm going to just go to 3 months right here. All right, so it shows you, so let me just ask you guys, based on what you know, what kind of movement has Walmart had as you look at this over the last 3 months? Has it had a bullish move or a bearish move? What do you think?
A bullish and bearish move. It was up and down,
It is up and down. These are little kind of dips, but in
but
this
for the most
last,
part, it's
yeah,
been a
it's
bullish
been
move.
bullish, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, and so as you can see, so this was a really low day. This was
Hmm.
on April 30th, 2024. And so
Good
do you
day to
guys
buy.
see those numbers there?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we'll focus on this in just a minute, but I'm just letting you see this is kind of what happens on this axis, right? All right. Now let's just go down to the summary. All right, so when you look at the key stats, right? This is a summary. All right. So it opened at $66.57. The highest that it was on the day was $67.15. The lowest it was on the day was $66.28. And then the previous day, it closed at $66.60. We're not going to get into volume and all of that. All right. And then remember, we talked about up here, it gave us the 52-week range of how this stock has moved in the last 52 weeks. Well, this gives you the dates. Okay. So the 52-week high was $67.15. And look what day that high was on. Today. So it went on the most it's been in the last 52 weeks happened today. Okay. The 52-week low was $49.50, and that happened on June 6th of 23. Okay. And then I'm going to just point out a couple of more things. So if a particular stock that you're investing in pays dividends, you see here, it shows the dividend yield and the dividend. This means that this stock pays dividends. If it did not pay dividends, there would be nothing here. All right. And then two more things that I'm going to point out. This here is the dividend amount for those who own that stock, right? So most stocks have earnings every quarter. So what earnings are is just the company saying this is what happened in the company this quarter. We met our goal of having this much money or meeting this goal or that. And then they typically will project what's going to happen in the next quarter. So when earnings comes out, remember I said supply and demand moves the price. News also moves the price. Okay. And so when earnings come out, if the earnings are not as good as they thought they should be, or as that the whole market thought they should be, then that can push the price down. And then if it came out better or what they expected, that could push the price up. Okay. And so what this is telling you is that the next earnings date is on August 15th. Okay. This date here means this ex-dividend date. This is kind of getting in the weeds a little bit. This means that if you owned a share of Walmart stock by at least August 16th, then on this next earnings date, you get to get the dividend payout into your account. Right, so I explained to you how to read the stock chart. Now I want you to read one for me. All right. All right, that's it. That is the last portion of the Investing Basics workshop. I've enjoyed this time with you. Just wanted to let you know that in the fall, I will be doing this workshop virtually, as well as a course that goes along with it, because my goal was for women, Black women, 45 or older, to be confident investing in the stock market, having a better understanding about how your 401ks and your 403bs work with your employers. But if you are ready to jump in, the course also tells you how to open a brokerage account, and it gives you several investing strategies that you can use so that you can begin to earn wealth in the stock market. So you can go to my website, www.financeandaffirmations.com, and look under current courses, and a date will be placed there shortly. Okay, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the class. I hope you enjoyed watching the Finance and Affirmations podcast. If you haven't already done so, click the subscribe button. Until next time, blessings.